Good morning, Danny.
Morning.
The Colville game was a loss, but have there any positives out of it?
Yeah, I think if you look at it, we're a few lads who got some valuable game time under their belt. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. It was a good run out for them. Get a bit of fitness in them. Obviously, where the weather's been poor and training's been changed, not just with us, but probably most clubs across the country, with trying to find venues and that with pitches that are up for it to hold the weather. So obviously having a game of football like they did the other night, people like Banksy, etc., got some work in their legs that haven't been able to get the last week or so. So that's great for the academy lads, great for young George to score a header. I think he's been at the club since maybe under 10s, under 11s, so great for him and the other academy lads. And it's great because Neil Cluxton does some great work of his staff with the academy, and it's nice to get a little bit of reward sometimes. And I know a lot of those young lads had their families and parents here watching. Disappointing to have lost. No one likes to lose a game, but obviously our focus now is fully on Scunthorpe and trying to get that promotion that we all desperately want.
And of course, it does seem like an age since we actually had one of these press conferences for a game.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. It feels a long time, but like I say, post-Christmas for me is the time where you can see the league taking shape. Yes, it's taking shape now, but post-Christmas for me is the time where it is what it is, and it's just one or two people tend to change positions. So it will fly by. Come January, it will fly by the season. Before you know it, it'll be like 10 games left, and it's 5, and it's last game of the season. And hopefully we're in a good position post-Christmas to kick on and get to where we want to get to.
Have all the cancellations and the long break been useful for getting over knocks and niggles and things like that?
Not really. It hasn't been a hindrance as such, but obviously recently there's nothing anyone can do about the weather all over the country. That is what it is. I just think that with us, fingers crossed, we've had a good season with injuries without tempting fate. So it wasn't as if we needed loads to come back off the treatment table. We were lucky. Well, not lucky, but the couple we have got injured are sort of long-termers. So it's not really like, okay, a couple of weeks to do them any good to get them back quicker. So selfishly for us, it wasn't sort of let's miss some games so we can get some players back quickly. We were ready to go. I think we were all disappointed with the Wrexham one really, because we were all up for that on the Tuesday night. But the weather again is a difficult one for that. It was no one's fault. So it was frustrating really. But what you've got to do is when you do have a break, when you do have games called off, it's always better to have them called off when you're in a good position in the league and a decent run of form. When you're on a bad run of form and down the bottom, you sort of just want that next game to come to turn the tide. We're not in that position, luckily. We're going up against a team very difficult, even though they're down the bottom, Scunthorpe, who are looking to turn that tide, and we've got to make sure it doesn't start against us.
Well, in the past, we've often been the team that's done that. Is there any advantage in helping in playing home and away so close together?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any advantage or disadvantage. I've played teams Boxing Day and won, and then lost to the same team New Year's Day, and vice versa. So no, it's just two separate games. Obviously, if you win the first one, you go into the next one a little bit more optimistic you're going to win and confident. But no doubt, whatever happens at Boxing Day, when they come here and New Year's, they'll bring a load of fans and they'll look at it as a new chance to beat us. So they're two separate games completely, but it's one at a time starting Boxing Day.
Well, our supporters are probably thinking it's going to be a very easy game with their form being so poor and being bottom of the table. But we should all know better than that, particularly with a team like Scunthorpe, as you were saying. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think our supporters I think they're a little bit more knowledgeable than that. I think they know this level, sadly for them, for too long now. They want to get out of this league like we all do, and they know the hiccups and the ups and downs that can come at any given point. So I don't think they'll be going there expecting us just to win easily. We all want to go there and win the game. And I think that what we can expect is a team that's obviously hasn't won in 9, and sooner or later bad runs do end. I don't care if a team ends up getting relegated or only wins one. Eventually they win a game, and eventually a team flying loses a game. So we have to make sure that isn't the game for them to turn. You know, they'll have a decent crowd there. They'll be the underdogs, and we've got to make sure we don't allow that upset to occur. We make sure that our fans go home happy with the perfect Christmas.
Well, I was looking at the statistics, and they haven't won at home since October the 25th, and they haven't won away since July.
Yeah.
Which is quite amazing, I think, and for Scunthorpe, unbelievable. So they're not. They're bound to have a win, aren't they? Sometime very soon.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I mean, hopefully it's not very soon. But I think when they went down with Oldham, a lot of teams. I think remember with Leighton Orient, Leighton Orient got relegated, and everyone thought, we were going to romp it the next year, and it wasn't to be. It nearly went the other way. And look at Oldham; they're having a tough time. Scunthorpe having a tough time. It's a tough league. Now, without going into too much detail about stuff I'm not too knowledgeable about, I think they're having a few takeover situations going on there, which sometimes affects the on the field stuff. And I'm sure the supporters are quite agitated where they are, and it sometimes brings a dark cloud over a football club. And it seems like they've got that at the moment. But they've got obviously a manager that wants to be the one to turn things around, and they've got some decent players. And like I say, we're going there as the favourites, and that always makes it a little bit more tough than going somewhere where the other team are the favourites. So no, we won't be taking them for granted. And with all due respect to Scunthorpe, we want to go there and hopefully keep their bad run going.
I suspect it's going to be a tougher game than most supporters think.
I think every game's a tough game. I mean, I think bar the one or two games you get a season where you might have a 4-0 or a 5-0. Most ones are pretty tight. You look at Dorking pulled back to 1-1, and we had to go bang bang quite late on to win 3-1. And but no one sees that. When they're watching at home on the scores, you see 3-1. That must have been a comfortable win. It's never comfortable in this league, and that's what makes the celebrations, if and when you do get promoted, so ecstatic and so over the top, because everyone knows, me, you, the players, the supporters especially, know what everyone's gone through to get there. And if we were to have a successful end to the season, and you know what I mean by that, then I'm sure we'll look back at games like Scunthorpe, hopefully have won and gone, I remember that tough game at Scunthorpe we won. But it's all about the points. But like the manager says, if we go there and perform, hopefully the points will take care of themselves.
And this should be, hopefully, the springboard to the last part of the season being very successful.
Yeah, I think, listen, let's get it right. We've been successful so far. Any other season, we're probably top. We've got over 2.1, 2.2 points a game. It's just a shame that the two above us have got 2.3, 2.4 points a game, whatever it may be. So, that's not a cop-out. That's saying that we are doing well, but there's two teams at the moment doing better. That's just plain and simple. What we've got to make sure is that we don't slip up anymore. We had that little week of a blip and then a disappointing performance at Halifax. What we can't do if we want to be successful is have another couple of blips along the way, because then you are handing certain things to other teams on a plate to say go on and sort of make that gap bigger between us. But we're having a very good season. We've got a really good FA Cup game to look forward to. We're not 12th and 14th, and then we're going, well, the FA Cup's this is our big chance. No, the FA Cup's a big bonus this game here. Pressure's on West Brom. If we win, great. But it will be an upset, and whatever happens in that game, we can concentrate on our league successes, and hopefully we can carry on this form. Upset Wrexham and Notts County along the way. They have a blip, but that's the fairy tale. That's the perfect script. Football don't work like that. There's no point me talking about Wrexham and Notts County and what they may or may not do if we don't turn up at Scunthorpe and perform, because then we'll be letting ourselves down.
Have you heard any more about the discussion between the EFL and the National League about promotion? There was some discussion about 3 up, 3 down, I think.
Yeah, I think for a while that's all it's going to be is discussions. I think it'll be a long way off, sadly. It's wrong, but sadly I think it'll be a long way off, because you've got to remember, ultimately, until there's a real change at the top there, it will come down to teams in the league voting. And that's how it's always been, on the EFL to vote about more places to get relegated, etc. And so they have discussions. But if you're a League Two team who's fashionably near the bottom of the league, are you going to vote for another position that you could go out of the league. So it's going to be a tough one. I don't know the ins and outs of how that rule would eventually be overturned. All I know is that in this league, that ourselves, Notts County and Wrexham, get more attendances than pretty much most of the teams in League Two. So I'm not saying that's a reason that we should be there. Not at all. It's more than attendances, but let's get it right. There's only a couple of teams part-time in this league, and even they're virtually 3 times a week. So it's a fifth league, and it's a professional league. We all know that. But until the rules change, we've just got to do our best to abide by them and get in that football league as soon as we can.
Finally, the World Cup's over. I'm sure you've enjoyed it. Have you found anything in there useful in the way of the games changing or anything?
No, I'm hoping we don't ever have the referee we had against France, but that's another story. No, listen, it's one of them. There's loads of things you can look at. I do think that as much as people moaned about the added time early on, I think there's a logic to it. I think it's Collini, the famous Italian referee. I think he's now in charge of all the referees, and he actually was the one who said, "Look, we got to cut down on the time wasting." And as our fans will testify, how many times here have we come and seen teams wind the clock down, and then the fourth official puts 2 minutes on at the end and does. So I would like to see that implemented a lot more at our level within reason. No one wants to see 12, 13 minutes added for every little stoppage, but I think that's something I would like to see the referees take a little bit more control of, is when teams come blatantly slow it down. That's fine, slow it down, but it's going to get added on. No, apart from that, obviously there's some great skills, some great things on show in that World Cup, but now it's back to reality and helping the Spy-Rights get over the line.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Danny, and thank you for putting up with me all this year.
Don't be silly. You have a lovely Christmas. I see you've had a nice little haircut, haven't you, for this Christmas episode? So
of course,
it's very
just
good.
Short of a polish.
What I'd like to see next time is a nice picture behind you, because it's like you're in cell number 40 when I look at you there. You need to have a little bit of a picture behind you. It makes it a bit brighter in the background.
Yeah. Can I wish you and all the team a very happy Christmas?
No problem.
And a very successful New Year.
Thank you very much, and you too, my friend.